What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and show where I, Graham G.S. and Matthews, break down all the original content you watch on the WWE Network and on Peacock. And today we're talking the October 14, 2023 edition of the SmackDown LowDown, hosted by Megan Morant and Matt Camp in the studio. They open up the episode replaying the ending to SmackDown with Roman Reigns spearing LA Knight to close out the show. They also replay the Triple H announcements, with Nick Aldis being named the new general manager of Friday Night SmackDown, Adam Pearce the new GM of Monday Night Raw, and Kevin Owens being introduced as the newest member of SmackDown in exchange for Jey Uso being traded to Raw. Matt Camp says that Owens is back on the Bloodline's radar by being on SmackDown. God, I fucking hope not. I am so sick of Owens and Roman and Owens in the Bloodline. That was one of the saving graces of him going to Raw earlier this year in the draft. I really hope he has zero interaction with those guys. I don't think he goes heel anytime soon. I feel like it might be happening at some point with all this drama with Cody getting Jey on Raw and then Owens feeling the brunt of it. I mean, Cody got a tag team partner out of it, and then Sami loses his partner because of it. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I mean, I really have no desire to see Owens and Bloodline, interact again. That would be stupid. But he does run down, Camp does, the potential opponents for Kevin Owens on SmackDown, including, again, the Bloodline. No thanks. Grayson Waller, he does mention him and LA Knight at some point. I'm thinking, hey, listen, if Kevin Owens goes heel eventually, that would be a pretty fun program. I don't think Knight goes back to being heel, and he shouldn't be anytime soon. So that would be fun. Matt Camp says that all this is a former NWA World's Heavyweight Champion, a lot like Adam Pearce. I'm glad he acknowledged that. Also called him the National Treasure. Very cool. They recap Pretty Deadly versus Brawling Brutes, with Pretty Deadly being back in the ring, beating the Brawling Brutes here. We hear from Pretty Deadly backstage with Caleb Braxton. And Pretty Deadly they bring out a disco ball, first of all, for their interview here. And Elton Prince says that he's in a vulnerable position, even though they're back in the ring, because he was hurt. He was out hurt for a couple of months, and we saw the vignettes talking about his road to recovery. And that was about it. But they vow to continue their winning ways on SmackDown. They also recap Bayley versus Zelina Vega, and Bayley beating Zelina. And Bayley, we hear from her afterward, along with the rest of Damage Control. Bayley says that they're celebrating Io Sky and the era of Io retaining her championship at the Fastlane pay-per-view last week. Dakota Kai chips in to Kathy Kelly and says, well, Charlotte Flair ruined it by doing what she did on SmackDown. And Io says that she'll once again prove next week on SmackDown that this is her era by beating Charlotte to retain her WWE Women's Championship. In the studio, they preview Sky and Flair for next week's show. They also recap Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso successfully defending the undisputed WWE Tag Team titles against Austin Theory and Grayson Waller on SmackDown, and acknowledge, no pun intended, the post-match face-off with Cody, Jey, and the Bloodline, Jimmy Uso, Solo, and specifically Roman Reigns, planting those seeds and watering those plants for Cody and Roman, probably at WrestleMania, as it should be. They replay the Bobby Lashley-Carlito segment backstage, with the two getting in each other's face and, again, planting the seeds for a future matchup between the two. Montez Ford says, we hear from Bobby and the Prophets here. Montez Ford says that they, gave Carlito a welcoming gift back here on SmackDown. Bobby says that the LWO has a problem with them and they're going to finish it. They're going to settle it coming up here on SmackDown. And after they finish with the LWO, they're going to go after the rest of the roster. They got big plans and no one's going to stop them. Interestingly, Bobby made no mention of the fact he pinned the United States champion on last week's show. You would think by beating Ray, and hopefully at some point, whether Bobby wins or loses, I would have him lose, but that they would do that match and have Bobby go after the United States Championship. Why would he not want that title? He pinned Ray one-on-one last week on SmackDown. I would not forget about that. And then to close out the show here, they preview Montez Ford versus Santos Escobar for next week's show. They also replay the Open, the main event, and Matt Camp says that Roman Reigns is back now surveying the field for how much the landscape of SmackDown has changed in his absence, and he's got a new threat on his radar in LA Knight. A successful edition here, I thought, of the SmackDown Lowdown, hearing from, as I mentioned, Pretty Deadly, Bobby, and the rest of his little group with the Prophets. Damage Control. A lot of interviews here on the show, and I thought it was a successful show overall to kind of cap off a great season premiere of SmackDown from Friday night, which I did review in a separate video. If you haven't already checked it out, please do so, from earlier today. Have an awesome one, guys. Thank you so much for checking out my review. I appreciate it. Be sure to like the video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.